More than 2 years of development and the sinking city is slowly approaching its release. There is still a lot of work lying ahead, but the hardest part is certainly behind us. Now we feel it's finally time to start showing some gameplay to the public. Luckily, we have a few great opportunities to do it, with gaming events like GDC and EGX Rest being right around the corner. Making a demo is always a challenge, we know that by now. Our goal is to show as much diversity as possible, diversity of our gameplay features and cultural aspects as well. For these purposes, and also to introduce and explain our mechanics, we are creating a completely new quest line. So let's jump back to November when our work began. Our narration team comes up with a story of a missing person.
Depends on the kind of job that you're offering.
My husband, Harry Evans, has disappeared.
It ties together our gameplay features as well as that Lovecraft-inspired lore. At the same time, our concept artists and level modelers start working on the gameplay area. The quest is designed to take the player across different city districts: Rich, Poor, the Harbor Zone and the others. At first, the plan was to put together a small separate map just for GDC, but we quickly realized we didn't want to make something we would never use in the future. So we agreed that the quest should take place in the actual city. The problem is our full map is far from finished. It already has streets and buildings, but is lacking those small details that make a city feel alive. To negate that, we decide to border off the gameplay area and spice it up a little, add points of interest, vehicles, landmarks, and of course our monoliths. So now we have a more or less finished and polished part of the map that we can use in our final product. Things are going smoothly. Obviously, different bugs and glitches keep popping up like crazy. Sometimes the hero wears two hats, sometimes a floating object stop being floaty, and don't get me started on strange collisions. But we always manage to fix them in no time. However, there is one big problem that we have struggled to sort out for months: lighting. In our previous demo, we used static light maps and baked them into the textures. That was a difficult and resource-draining process, so in our game we eventually decided to switch to dynamic lighting. It works great, yet we still cannot pinpoint the right tone and colors that we want to use in the sinking city. To solve that problem, we reach out to professional photo artists in Kyiv. They help our team find the right color scheme, inspired by the works of Caspar David Friedrich, James McNeill Whistler, Gregory Crutzen, and other prominent masters in their fields. Also, during our numerous playtests, we realized something. Our quest line is intriguing, but very linear. And that's not something you'd expect from the developers that keep hyping up their quote-unquote strong and non-linear storytelling. So our writers put together an alternative ending, I guess you could call it a good ending, available only for the most observant investigators. There is something else that requires a lot of effort to produce. Our intro cutscene is supposed to be the very first thing that people will see. Obviously, we want to make it look impressive and true to our source of inspiration, Lovecraft. Our cinematic artists decide to start the cutscene in the water, slowly emerging to show the city. The sea and its destructive influence are one of the main themes in our game, and these first few seconds felt fitting, they felt right. There is a whole lot of work being done in the meantime. Our animation specialists are working on making those characters and objects move realistically. The localization team is searching for the right actors to voice our characters. The sound designers and the combat unit are busy as well. After several months of work, the demo is ready. All that's left to do is spend countless and countless hours creating and practicing the presentation. We know the importance of the first impressions. They can be make it or break it kind of deal. We might find thousands of new fans or go completely unnoticed. And it's really tempting to fall in the trap of overpromise just to gain short-term attention. But there is nothing worse than being disappointed when the game comes out and feel like being lied to. So we decided to make a demo that is true to the game as possible. And now we want to see what will be the people's reaction.